Poor Folk is Fyodor Dostoyevsky's first novel, written between 1844 and 1845. It tells a haunting and emotional story about two people trapped in the misery of poverty in 19th century Russia. The novel is written as a series of letters exchanged between Makar Devushkin, a poor clerk, and Varvara Dobroselova, his younger cousin, who is also struggling to survive. Through their letters, we see how deeply poverty affects not only their bodies, but also their minds and hearts. Both Devushkin and Dobroselova live in a world where they cannot escape their suffering. Devushkin, dressed in ragged clothes, is mocked by his co-workers and lives in a filthy, cramped room. Dobroselova, once from a respectable family, suffers from illness and abuse, trying to survive by sewing, but it's never enough. Their letters paint a picture of a life with no hope of rising above their terrible situation, where poverty is like a prison that traps them. But their letters aren't just about their hardships. They also share books, which give them a brief escape from the darkness of their reality. For Devushkin, literature is his lifeline. He can endure hunger and pain, but not the loss of his books. Reading becomes their way to hold on to their humanity in a world that has taken almost everything from them. Even in his own misery, Devushkin tries to make Dobroselova's life a little better. He uses what little money he has to buy her gifts, trying to show his love through small acts of kindness. For him, giving these gifts means more than material help. It's about showing her that he cares, even when he has almost nothing. This kindness keeps a small light alive in the bleak world they live in. However, as the novel progresses, the gap between the rich and the poor becomes painfully clear. Dobroselova eventually decides to marry Mr. Bykov, a wealthy man who cares little for her. She makes this choice because, in a society where wealth means freedom and security, she sees no other way to escape her poverty. But by accepting his proposal, she leaves behind her bond with Devushkin, trading their shared suffering for a life of comfort. The letters between them grow colder as she becomes distant, lost in the world of wealth. Their letters show how much they mean to each other, offering support as they both suffer under the weight of poverty. But their bond is fragile, and Dobroselova's decision to marry Bykov breaks it. In the end, Devushkin is left alone, heartbroken, writing one last letter saying that he loves her and cannot live without her. The novel ends in sadness, showing how poverty not only destroys lives, but also tears apart relationships. Despite their connection, the forces of wealth and class are too strong, and they are ultimately separated by the cruel realities of their world. Poor Folk is a story of love, suffering, and the deep emotional wounds caused by poverty, told through the intimate and mysterious exchange of letters between two lost souls.